mute because I'm gonna clickety-clack. I'm gonna type notes while we're doing that.
Sounds good. All right. I forgot my pen.
Here.
Go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's our October 27th meeting of the Rec Committee. Troy's pretty good at this. I'm not. We'll get going. Item number 2, citizen comments. I kind of have 2. I was reapproached by Penelope Crane, who's kind of the leader of the ice rink group, asking about whether or not we were going to do an ice rink this year and kind of what the plan was. And I responded, said, I asked if we still had a group that would, help take care of it. I've tried before. I can't do it myself. If we have a group, I'll order it and we'll do an ice rink. And so I'm kind of waiting back to hear if she has a group. But it's something I'd like to do, but I know I can't do it myself. So that's kind of where I went with that.
You have a
You're in the town office, right?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about location.
So the 2 that have been brought up are behind the town office where we'd kind of planned, and now that the town owns Sylvania, that is also another possibility. I think I like behind the town office better, but we'd have to get approval for either one, so we'll have to kind of figure that out. But so that was that, and then last meeting in August, we had a group asking about outdoor pickleball courts. And I hadn't, we've been working on, and we'll talk later about the 80 Gray Park update, what Max and I have been talking about. But something that got brought up to me by a fella named Garth, that there's some stuff called sports court, and it's kind of rubbery tile that you can lay out, and it's removable and movable. And he said as long as you had like a flat space, you could lay it out, put a net out, leave it for the summer, and then take it up in the winter. And I got kind of looking into it. It seems like it might be a reasonable option in the meantime, until we have the time to build new courts. Especially, we just talked about Sylvania. There's a bunch of flat area over at Sylvania. There's room to stick all kinds out there. I sent a request for a quote out there. Garth said somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000. Another lady I talked to said they had one at their house that was half a basketball court, and that was $4,000 in like 2010. So, probably looking in the $4,000 to $8,000 range. But if it's something that could be used, and it definitely seems like there's enough interest in it, then maybe it's something we can do in the meantime while we're waiting on our $70,000 to $100,000 tennis courts. So those are kind of.
Karen, have you ever played on that? Sorry, Marcus.
I have not. Unless it's, it looks different. It looks the same, but it looks different as the court that's inside 80 Gray, like the tile. Like it looks like tile, but it looks more porous. Like it has holes in it that goes to the ground, kinda, like rubber matish.
It's got to be similar to what's in the MAC. Sounds like it's.
Could be. I haven't been in the MAC myself.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Theoretically portable, right? I mean, it's.
Right. And it looks, they have some cool. One of the main ones they show on the page. It's kind of neat. It looks more like a backyard setup, but they have a basketball court, like a basketball hoop that's planted in the ground, and then they got like a half a basketball court, and then on the others, directly back from the hoop, is a set of one pole with lights, and then the lines on the court are actually pickleball lines going horizontally, and the net goes from the hoop to the light, and so it's kind of multi-use. That would be kind of neat. But
Cool idea.
It'll depend. They haven't got back to me yet. I sent the request for a quote in yesterday, so just kind of see, and it'll be, we're closing in on November, so even if I like what I see and we can get the money together, it'll probably be, late May to June, July before I start thinking about putting anything like that out. Won't put it out over the winter. I'd wait.
Where would the storage, how do you store it?
I don't know. That's one thing I'd have to learn more about it. I have a storage space of my own, so I don't know how much it would take up, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Pickleball
Put a heat mat
Central,
on-
I wonder if
put a
they
heat mat
have
under
it
it.
too.
What?
Put a heat mat under it, don't store it.
Right? A little radiant heating.
There you go.
That's pretty much it for citizens' comments. For kind of those two groups I'd talked to. Going down to approve the minutes from August. The only thing I saw was in citizens' comments. It says Brenner instead of Benner, so just take the R out. But other than,
Alright,
it's okay. Thank you for doing them.
Yeah.
Other than that,
do you want me to make that correction and then resend?
I can do it. I
I
think.
think I sent a PDF though, I can send you the Word doc.
Okay, that'd be great. So if people want to take a minute to look down through them, if you haven't seen them yet, otherwise take a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Right.
Second.
Caren.
I read them at home.
Second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. All right. Section 4, Director's Report. So it's been 2 months since we've met. Last time we talked, I was working with the Y to try to get an enhanced fitness class set up. Those talks have kind of stalled out. They're having a hard time getting an instructor for that class. They had one go out with some medical stuff, and another one didn't really want to travel to Waldoboro, so in the winter, I guess. So we're working on that. I'm still in talks with them, but I just don't know. They'll have to find an instructor before we can go any further, but we're still working on it. Pickleball is back up and going well. Numbers are down compared to when we ran it before, pre-COVID, but we have had over 20 different players so far in the first month or so. So it's not the same people showing up every week like before, but we usually have enough to play. So it's been good. Co-ed softball wrapped up in early October, and the Bayview Bushwhackers won the championship in their first season in the league.
Wow.
They defeated Quit Your Pitching, which is my team, in the championship game. And this was the first time since 2015 that Benchwarmers and South of the Border, who turned into Brooks Trap, haven't played each other in the championship. And it's the first time since 2009 that neither of those teams were in the championship. So it was good to see a little parity this year. We had 15 teams, and there were probably 10, 11 of them that could beat anybody. So it was really competitive. For a non-competitive league, it was really competitive and a lot of fun. I think most everybody had a good time. We tried to run it the last weekend in September. We got Saturday in and then got rained out on Sunday and then finished the next weekend. And so it went well. Youth soccer is almost wrapped up. We got one final game for our 5th, 6th team tomorrow night. We had 85 kids in the program this year, which is up from last year, but still down significantly from pre-COVID. We were right around 120 kids before.
Did you say 80 kids?
85. So yeah, it's kind of, our K2 program was down, probably 10 kids, and then 3-4 was normal, and then 5-6 was down a lot. We had one co-ed team of 15 players. Usually we have a boys team of 12 or so and a girls team of 12 or so, and a couple years we've had 2 girls teams. We only had 3 or 4 girls in that age group at all. So it was disheartening to see, but I'm hoping they bounce back next year, especially with that 3-4 group stayed strong. That was our strongest to come back. We've always had 3 teams of about 10 kids, and that's what we had this year. So if we can get that core group to continue up to 5th, 6th, we'll bounce right back to 2 teams next year. Our senior bus trip went well. I think it was October 13th or so. We went to Bar Harbor for the day, got lunch, and then went to the top of Mount Cadillac, and then down to Thunder Hole, and then finished the park loop, and then came home. It was a beautiful day. There was a light breeze at the top of the mountain, but I was in a short sleeve shirt, and I was not cold at all. It was beautiful, and the weather was, and the leaves had started to turn, so it was prime leaf season. Everybody seemed to have a good time.
Well attended?
Yeah, we had 31, which is average, I guess. We've had trips where we've had 25 to 30 before. The bus will hold 55, so we weren't full by any means. But that seems to be the trend with everything this year, as we're just a little bit down with everything. I think people aren't quite back to normal. That's the only thing I can figure. But the 30-something people that went had a really good time. So,
Good.
and we were able, I mean, with not having the bus full, we were able to spread out a little bit, which I think people appreciated. And lastly, we will be collaborating with the Waldo Theater for a Christmas movie night showing of Elf on December 3rd at 7 p.m. I'm going to have some information up on our Facebook and town page soon. The cost of that is $8 for adults and $5 for kids ahead of time, and it's $10 for adults at the door. But adults do have to be show masked and proof of vaccination to get in, and kids 12 and under will be asked screening questions. So.
Is there going to be any kind of fund to help cover the cost if kids can't afford the $5? I know people think $5 is not much, but some families can't afford that. Is there going to be an option for families who need assistance?
Yeah, if they need assistance, they can feel free to give me a call. Since it's something we're working with them on, we always have a scholarship fund for our programs. It's not really a program, but whatever we can do to help kids get there, I'm in. So.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. So they're doing another movie night on the 17th, but I'm not. We just talked about the 3rd, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But
It's so nice to have the Waldo back up and going.
Yep, I was in there in August, and it looks nicer in there now than it did when I was in middle school 20 years ago.
Well, the Fiddle Fest was sold out, I think. And
I heard they
both
did well.
nights it went longer than they expected, 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And up at Old Alewives, they said they would, this will be our last number, and then they went another whole half hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Nice.
So
they're gonna give us 4 tickets to raffle off, kinda, or do whatever we want to do with them. So I was thinking about some type of rec Facebook page contest to try to get people to our Facebook page. I don't know if you guys have any ideas.
How about doing it on when you have everybody here for voting?
For voting.
Yeah, you got a lot of people come.
Advertise for it then, but yeah, some type of contest. Either the easiest one is like drop a like on the post to get entered, or have them take a picture dressed up as an elf or something. I don't know what you guys think, and then we just do a random drawing to see who gets the 4 tickets. I don't know if you have any input, but something fun.
Troy's eating, he can't talk.
Trevor.
Trevor, I mean.
I got ambulance.
Supper of Champions.
Yeah,
If you didn't bring enough to share, with the class, you can't have any yourself.
Come on.
It's a family size bag, I got plenty.
Can you drop some of those in the chat for me?
Yeah. Are
we gonna do the lights contest again? I know we didn't do it last year, but we did a couple of years ago. That was fun. I liked being a judge for that. And it seemed like the people who participated really got into it.
Yep. Well, if you want to be a judge again, you can be, because I sent an email 2 days ago.
Awesome.
And I'm planning on doing it. So the Waldoboro Business Association is the one who came up with that contest. And 2 years ago, they asked me to kind of run it for them. And so now that I'm back doing rec, I wanted to get that back up and going this year, but I hadn't heard anything from them. So I sent them an email and said, hey, I want to do this contest, but it's kind of yours, so I don't want to steal it. What do you want to do? I hadn't heard back, but the lady I emailed actually came in the office today for something else, and I snagged her for a minute, and she was going to talk to them about what they could do. I guess their numbers are kind of dwindling with the association. But regardless, I'm going to get as much help from them as I can, but regardless of their help, I plan on doing a contest.
Awesome. I would be happy to be a judge. That was fun. I love Christmas lights anyway, so it was... Is this for residences only, or is it for business and residents? I can't remember.
Last time we did a business contest and a resident contest.
Would that be your plan again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So
Would that include window fronts? If
So
they have something in their window or something?
Yeah, it's whatever you can see from the road. The judges drive in your driveway, and whatever they can see, they judge.
I meant for businesses.
For businesses,
window front.
yeah,
Mhm.
yep. So if you can stand outside their business and see it,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I think the couple businesses we had last time was Shelley's Flowers did one. I want to say there was another, but I honestly can't remember.
I didn't judge the business. That was done by somebody else. I just did the
houses.
Homes, yeah. And I remember being very disappointed that our neighbor, whose name I won't say since we're being recorded, our neighbor who lives not too far from where Caren and I are, who has a fabulous display, did not enter, but I hope he'll enter this year.
And so I talked to him a couple days ago. And so before, I looked up back at the old paperwork, and before there was a deadline of December 7th to have your display up so we could start judging. And he basically said that he goes lobstering through Thanksgiving, and then it takes him 7-8 days to set up.
Does.
So getting set up by the 7th was kind of hard for him, so he didn't enter. But if we backed that up to like the 14th, he would definitely enter. So
and we should. Let's we're not trying to rig the contest, but let's
Right.
extend it for as many people as possible who want to participate, because we have a lot of other lobstermen who might be in the same sort of boat. So
sure, pun intended.
This is not rigged. I'm not rigging the vote.
You sure you're impartial?
Sure.
All right, so that's pretty much it for my report of stuff that has happened. So, moving on, old business community center update. So we got kind of the results back from the DEP, and it's not good for where we had originally planned. Basically, not buildable at all. And so I don't know if you guys have seen the maps or know the area, but so behind Miller School, but on Miller School's property, they have their playground and their small ball field. They own another 2 acres past that up the hill, and according to our planner Max, that is not wetlands. And so we've talked with the school already about them allowing us, or I don't know the particulars. It's super early, but maybe opening up that tree line, giving them access to our ball fields during the day, which they already have. They use them for phys ed all day anyways, but kind of opening up that tree line in between Miller's playground and our ball fields, and kind of turn it into one campus, and then building our community center behind their playground and ball field. You know, I don't know who would own, you know, the land that it's on and all that stuff, but it might be another option for us, especially to stay real close to the school like we'd hoped. We just can't go up the hill as far as we thought on our side. It was talked about at the last school board meeting that I watched. Steve Nolan, the superintendent, put it in his superintendent's report. And so, I mean, they just briefly talked about it, but the few questions they had seemed very positive from the rest of their board members. So I think that's a direction we're going to start moving.
The traffic, I don't know the lay of the land, but the traffic going
Yeah.
up to the community center, would that
It would probably
impede with the school's activities?
I think that that's one thing we got to figure out. But I think the main entrance from to the community center, even though it would be a further drive, is probably going to be through the rec fields and not through the school parking lot. Would be my guess. Just to try to keep stuff a little
Yeah,
bit
right.
separate that way, so you don't have people driving through the school parking lot all day. It's going to be a little further around, but.
The access that originally had been thought about where a main modular was, and we got
Yeah.
that, what,
That's up higher.
That's
up
up
the hill.
higher,
Yeah,
okay.
that's up in the wetlands.
so that can,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So probably wouldn't have Route 1 access, but we'd get off West Main Street and still have a center real close to the school.
I'm sorry, can I back, so this is not town-owned land, it's land that the town would have to purchase or lease?
Yeah, we haven't got that far at all. There's
Okay.
literally been one conversation with the school. I don't know if we would buy it or they would let us use it or we would lease it. I don't know, but all the land that we own, the town owns, is wetlands, but the school has like a couple acres there that's undeveloped, that's not wetlands. So, you know, if they allow us to use it or sell it to us or whatnot, they're gonna get a community center in their back pocket, which I hope they see the benefit in. It seems like they do in what little bit they talked about at their meeting.
I'm sorry, but I can't recall, originally the plan was to have Head Start be relocated to this facility that we're talking about doing, in addition to, Lincoln Health, Head Start, and a rec center for us. Is that still part of the mix?
No, this would just be, I'm not sure about Head Start.
Okay.
The Lincoln Health thing has changed again. I don't know. I know they're still working with the town on something, but without it being I don't think it would be all in that location. I don't think there's enough room to do both. I think they talked about something else, but I don't know what's out there and what's not.
Okay.
The last I'd heard that this was just community center section.
Well, without them, how are we gonna afford it?
Yeah. It's not gonna. It might not. Yeah. I don't know. Might not be as big. Have to pick and choose. Phased approach.
Yeah.
Grants. So.
That's too bad.
Yep. Yeah. So, but it's still looking like we have a place. But yeah. So, if anybody has any ideas, but yeah, that's the update I got.
Is there anywhere, the answer to this may be no, but is there anywhere else to move the ball fields and then this facility could be built where the ball fields are now? Which we know is not a wetlands and we could build on it.
I think it is a little bit of a wetlands.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Is it a good
But-
place for an ice rink, the wetland?
You and your ice rinks.
Not me, I'm not into the ice rink, but I'm just,
A rec center behind their school and using the rec center, rec field roads gets that plowed for the winter, right?
Yeah, and probably paved.
Oh,
I would hope.
ice rink.
Yeah, ice rink. Yep. So, Yeah, I mean that could be another option, the place to put it. So, any more questions on the community center? That's kind of where we're at. We're kind of waiting to hear on some
So
stuff.
Lincoln Health is a done deal.
Yeah, I don't think they're still talking with the town about something, but I don't think the combo with the community center is gonna happen. The last I've heard, seems like things change every 2 days around here. But the last update I got was that as far as the community center plans go, Lincoln Health is out, and they're still talking to the town, but not in that project.
The building that is on Route 1 where Sheepscot PT used to be,
Yeah, right across the street.
how big is that
Not very. For what?
for a rec center?
I mean, it's like a couple rooms, but
Yeah, they're
There's no,
Big-
there would
Yeah.
certainly be no room for a gymnasium.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know if, it could be added on or,
I don't know how much land is there. But the building as it sits now is no more than a couple of multi-purpose rooms.
it's pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, it's something, but
probably 3 times the size of this room, I think.
yeah, you might get three or four multi-purpose rooms out of it, or 2 multi-purpose rooms, a small kitchen and an office. But
Pickleball inside.
I don't think the ceilings are high enough.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Moving on, the 80 Gray Park update. A lot has gone on with the building. It got deemed condemned, I guess, or whatever. The brick facade is not attached to the building, so it's a safety hazard. I know the town talked about it at the select board meeting last night. The selectmen did. I wasn't at that meeting. It sounds like they're still in talks with VOA, and there's talks about putting an RFP out there for either for people to tear it down or for somebody else to buy it as is. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. But as far as I know, the rest of the property is still ours. They're still only talking about the building section. So the last I talked with Max, we were looking at maybe putting together a project for the LWCF grant that's next summer, which would kind of encompass the whole property and redo those courts, either where they are or move them down into that middle field, and then fix up the ball field, new fence, backstop, and kind of come up with 3 or 4 different things that this grant can kind of encompass, and just do one big grant to try to fix that place up and get it back to where it needs to be, instead of doing something quick. But that's going to be, the grants next summer. If we're lucky enough to get it, you might get the money by winter, and then it's 2023 before we're making any moves over there. But that's kind of Max and I's plan going forward for that place. Just to try to get, seems to be a lot of need, and we definitely need to get those tennis courts back to what they need to be for the grant itself. We're in bad standing with them now. But this will help us get back on their good graces.
The rec center can't go up there on that land?
There's not really enough room unless we put it where the building is, if everything else falls through and they tear that building down. But I would still probably take right behind the school as opposed to a mile and a half away, just because you're gonna get so much more traffic in there after school programs and all that. That's still be my first choice, but it's a good second if nothing else happens there, if VOA doesn't go through or no one else wants it or buys it or whatever.
So are the park people finished with it?
I haven't heard anything from them, so
So, I mean, but has anyone reached out to them to see? I mean, they were really wanting a park, and we would like a park. So,
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know if anybody else has. But yeah, so we were. I only talked to Max basically about that grant. That's all we talked about. I hadn't talked about reaching out to anybody else.
Mhm.
All right. Next up, winter preview ideas. We already talked about the movie night and the Christmas light contest. One of those is new. The other one we're bringing back. Ski club will run starting in January, and then I usually run a K2 basketball program at Miller School. I'm not sure about that. I want to run it, but they have desks set up every 6 feet for lunch in the gym. So unless they change stuff, the only other thing I can do is I think the middle school has hoops that lower down to the height that kindergarten and first and second graders can shoot on. So I might try to use that if it's available on Saturday mornings or whenever.
It might be by then.
Yeah,
Don't we usually do K2 after?
it's usually the
Yeah, it was-
last Saturday in January to like the second Saturday in March. It's 6 weeks.
Yeah, but it was typically after the regular season.
Yeah.
Right after the regular
Yeah,
youth season.
yeah, it's after
So you
the.
might be able to.
Yeah, it's all
Because older kids at that want no part of Saturday mornings.
right. It's all-star season, so
what's the name of that program? I'm sorry, basketball program. Is there a name for it?
I call it K2 basketball. It's kindergarten, first and second, so K to 2, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that back up and running. If the school will allow us in. But so those are the kind of the two, and then the last 2 years pre-COVID, we ran a 5th, 6th basketball tournament for travel teams. I would love to get back to doing that. That one seems like more of a stretch than K2. It's just one weekend, but it's a lot of people, and it's a lot of teams coming from all over the state. So the school will have to let me do it, and I'll have to get the help. And it'll depend on what kind of travel season we have around here. It seems like all the basketball teams have been back up and playing for a long time. Like they didn't care. They just, they've been playing at the MAC and places like that. So if they're going to play anyways, we might as well get a piece of that pie. I used to run a tumbling class with the instructor Matt Hanley. He was out of like Gardner or Lewiston, somewhere that way. And he is exclusively working out of the MAC now. So I reached out to Heather, the varsity coach, about getting him back to run a 6-week program, and he said he's all set up at the MAC and he won't be coming back. So unfortunately, we've lost that program to them. But so that's find some more stuff to do this time of year. We're starting with the movie night, and soccer's going a little longer, but.
Are you doing the ski club pass thing again that you used to do?
Yes, yeah, ski club, but that's usually doesn't start till January. So that's what.
They're starting to make snow.
Are they?
Yep.
Yep. That's good. I'll reach out to them, but yeah, usually they don't have enough. They don't have enough to have night skiing until January.
Mhm.
So usually it's that first weekend in January we're out there, and we run pretty much through all of February. I think we even went a couple times in March. I know some other towns stop at February break. That's kind of their last week. But I just keep it going. The leader I have that goes over and picks up the tickets. She says she'll keep going as long as they let her. So we just keep running it until there's no more snow.
I don't remember what it was called, but haven't you had in the past done some kind of Christmas party for kids? A Santa Claus or something? It's downtown usually. Am I not remembering this right?
I haven't. Maybe there was something else in town.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in the business community or something did it.
Is it? Okay.
Something.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm all for ideas. Anything you guys think? A lot of the only other idea I've been kicking around is a lot of the other directors around the mid coast. They run like a senior luncheon, like a potluck type thing. I thought that was something neat that I could do fairly easily. Yeah, maybe the the old VFW. I can't remember what the name of their church is now that the church owns it, but they've been pretty good about still letting us use that space. But once a month or every other month, hosting a potluck there for people. Talking to the other directors around the mid coast. I run a lot of programs they don't, but that seems to be one that most of them run that I don't. So maybe it's time I get on that train.
And that would be a monthly thing you're thinking, or that's how they do it?
That's how they do it, either monthly or bi-monthly. I think it'll really depend on how much interest I get. I know we do have a group in our community of seniors that meet monthly anyways. They kind of do it themselves, and I've been to some of their meetings, and it is a potluck. They always have food or refreshments, and they either play a game, play bingo, play a game, or they get a band to come in and play, or they go out to, I think one of them must have a camp or something, because they go out to Moody Island and have picnics out there. Like, they seem to meet pretty regularly, but maybe I can alternate what they do and maybe get a few new people in.
Maybe if you were to start one in December and have it like a holiday theme.
Yep.
And see what kind of interest you get, and if it's good, then you could pick it back up in January.
Right. If not, then I can just call it a holiday thing and try it again next year.
Exactly.
Holiday luncheon sounds good. All right. Yeah, so that's what I had. I was just looking for winter ideas. I said once January hits, things pick back up, but with that loss of tumbling from kind of now until Christmas, I've added the movie. I do a lot of my summer rec planning during this time, which seems crazy because it's so far ahead, but this is kind of my planning break, but I want to get some more stuff going on. If you guys have any ideas, I'd gladly take them. And it doesn't have to be tonight. You can email me or text me or whatever. But I figured I'd run that by you guys.
Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Whatever happened with that? I've forgotten.
Yeah, so we tried to partner with the Y on Tai Chi, and we ran sign-ups for a month, and neither one of us got a sign-up. Not one. So I'm all for it. We just got to get people to sign up. When we did our survey, what was like 2.5 years ago now, that was one of the biggest responses we got for programs that they wish we had. And then we offered it and nobody signed up, so.
What about like a winter hike or something? You could coordinate with one of the local land conservancy groups or something.
Yep, that was another thing I'd been thinking about. Julie actually mentioned that one to me. I'm trying to get some contact information for them. They have a bunch of contacts on their website, so I don't know.
Well, and there were some of them that actually had equipment that you could either use or maybe rent or something that the
Sure.
people could participate. Snowshoes,
Yep.
poles,
Right.
things.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep, I think that would be fun. So, yep, that's one that's on my list. I will get on that. And then, at least, and then now the last couple of years, this time I still have pickleball going on 2 days a week too, so that this time isn't as.
I'm wondering how we could get the word out for generate more interest in some of these things that's the shame about Tai Chi.
Yeah.
And I mean, I see our numbers at pickleball aren't there like we had before. And
Yeah.
I've emailed people, that have been
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just not getting out there.
Yep.
Well, we're still in a pandemic. I mean, I know people are vaccinated, people are getting their boosters now, but there are a lot of concerns. And so I think that could be one reason why you're not seeing some of the levels of participation that you saw in 2019. I do think those numbers are going to pick back up, but it's just, there's a big question mark right now. I mean, we have, it seems like every day we've got 600 more people testing positive. So and we've got the highest number of hospitalizations. And I think the pandemic is still affecting a lot of the indoor activities.
Yeah.
Especially for at-risk populations.
It's habit at this point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if you're not concerned, it's changed things. You know, you don't expect the same level of activity as pre-COVID.
Right.
So
That's why programs like the Christmas light decoration contest is something easy that hopefully will get a lot of participation because
Exactly.
people don't have to see each other. They can just see the lights.
Right.
So,
But we can use something like that, highlighting it on the Facebook pages, social media, getting some photographs in the newspaper, things like that. I mean, we can do that to build a sense of community, even if it's people staying at home. You're still having some kind of community, and then you build on that to actually get in-person community.
right.
When people feel more comfortable doing that.
Right.
And I think the outdoor hikes, I think you could get some interest in that.
Yeah.
As long as it's not treacherous. But I mean, we're not talking about rappelling down some kind of cliffside on the ice or anything like that. But
Right. Some flat
if you have
walk.
If you have a guide,
Yeah.
you have a guide who could do this, it could be a bird watching thing. I mean, there's some possibilities, I think.
Sure.
And if you could do it something that is on a weekend and appeals to families, that would be even better.
Yep.
So
The Historical Society did have, I think it was Mark Briscoe did it, when they had like a tour of Waldoboro.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, that was popular.
Yep.
I mean, especially where we have so many new people now coming in that they would want to learn about their area, I would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Maybe I can reach out to them. Be one big thing.
Make, a
Yeah.
hike around Waldoboro or something.
Yep. So, yeah,
We
between.
just
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say between that, the lights, building stuff off online with the light pictures, and then the Waldo Theater ticket contest type thing. The more people we can get to our Facebook page, that's the easiest way to spread information these days. It doesn't matter how many ways I put it out.
Yeah.
People just seem like they don't know. I've been doing the same stuff since I got here, town page, Facebook page, school newsletters for
Yeah.
youth programs, newspapers for all the other ones. It just, no matter how many places I put it, people didn't know.
Yeah.
What would be the expense involved of doing a mailer?
It was, when we did the survey, it was pretty expensive, but that was like a whole letter thing. I don't know about.
I'm just wondering if there was there's like a town newsletter or something, and I don't mean anything regular, I mean just something that would highlight some upcoming programs. You'd have to get on the ball, and you'd have to have the program set, so
Yeah.
you have dates and things like that. That's
Sure.
obviously an issue, but
I know some towns do like brochures, and I could just, instead of mailing them, I could just, everyone's got to come in to register a car, just leave them out front for people to see.
that's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
Kyle used to do that annual program he sold ads in.
Yeah. And I know, I happened to see the other
It
day,
does a bit of work to get together.
yeah,
I'd be able to do it at the town office. Having a flyer there.
Yeah.
Like, skip mailing it, put it, like we talked about with the survey, you put it in some key places in town.
yep. And the other cool thing I saw, and I don't know if I'll go to it or not. I have individual sign-ups for each of my sports programs throughout the year. and I see that Warren has like one sheet with all their programs on it.
Yes.
And they send it to the school, and you literally just check which programs you want to do that year. And it's not even an official sign up, but he can get in contact with you once that season rolls around, so he has a better idea of numbers ahead of time.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, like a non-committal, get on our list,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Yeah. Give me your email
Or
address.
even just a, one-page flyer of all the things
Yeah.
for every age group.
Yeah.
And just
Do a
maybe Hannaford's would let you
Yeah.
put it out there or something.
just be a
Plus here-
bifold with the 4 seasons on it and all the programs for each season.
Because once you get their email addresses, once you've got that information captured, when you have
Yeah.
programs that aren't on that you schedule late, you can email them about them.
Right.
With regard to the Facebook pages, do you ever boost any of the posts?
No.
Or anything like that?
No.
I don't know if that would even be. They're not expensive to do that, but I don't even know if that would be worth it.
I don't, that's the thing I never knew, so I never did it.
Yeah.
It's really a mixed bag. Sometimes I get posts that I come back the next day and they have 15 shares and a bunch of comments and usually questions about stuff, and a bunch of likes, and then sometimes I'll put out something that it'll say I'll have 1 like and it'll say 27 people saw it. It's like that's not helping unless they're the 27 people that were supposed to show up.
Yeah.
Well, and I need to remember. I mean, I'm bad about doing this, but I mean, if we could all remember every now and then just to go on, the way the algorithms work, I mean, if you make a comment, something like that, it all boosts it in people's news feeds.
Right.
So that's something that certainly all the rec committee members could do every now and then, just like, or great job, or cute, or that's awesome, or whatever, just something simple to help boost it in the analytics.
Trevor's usually the first or second person to like every picture I put up, so I'll thank him for doing that ahead of time.
Well, and I don't know.
But the comments help.
Yeah.
To Kelly's point, like you're talking about doing the contest, liking's too easy, right?
Yeah.
You gotta leave a comment.
Leave a comment or tag somebody in it so they can find our page, something like that.
Ooh, I like that.
Tagging, I was just going to suggest tagging. And then also, too, if you, I'm trying to think of, like local businesses that have Facebook pages or local organizations that have Facebook pages, if they've got something up, this would require you or someone at the town office to just kind of keep a regular watch on it. But if someone's got a comment under a thread, I've been really looking for a place to skate ice outside or whatever. And if we end up doing that, you could make that comment under that and you direct people to the rec department Facebook page. And
Yeah.
anyway.
Yep. I don't know what's new Waldoboro or enhancing Waldoboro, whatever they have now.
Yeah.
They're good about all that stuff.
There's a couple of those groups, I think.
Yeah. I don't know why,
They do
but
that.
Yeah,
there's
I
a
wish
couple.
it was one.
Yeah, but I'm not a member myself, but when I hear stuff that pertains to me, I hop on there and try to let people know what's going on.
You can tag them. I
Yeah.
mean, even if you're not a member, you can still tag them. Do you? Are you guys on Instagram? Do you have an Instagram account?
I mean, personally, yes, not for the rec
No,
page.
I meant the rec committee.
Yeah.
Only because that's where a lot of younger people are going to be.
Yeah,
So, and it's such a photo-driven thing, and because it's
yeah.
owned by Facebook, you post it on one, you could just check a little box and post on both places.
sure. Don't ask me to start TikToking, but I think I can do pictures.
I will nothing to do with TikTok, so
That would
nothing
be
to do with
money. That would drive involvement. I'd follow that.
You'd follow that? Jeez, I don't know if I would. I like watching them, but I've never made one.
I like the cooking TikTok. All the good food.
All the good food. All right, sounds good. We'll plan on picking this up again next month. If we'll see what's going on with the community center, but that's where we're at. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Oh.
So community center update for the items for upcoming agenda.
Oh yeah, items for upcoming agenda. Yeah,
And what's the other?
we'll leave community
Skate
center on
club.
there,
Okay.
and then probably the ice rink update by then. That'll be a month, so we'll know.
Ski club.
Yeah, ski club's just happening, and it won't have happened by
Okay.
then. So
The November date, does that interfere with Thanksgiving?
yes, probably. It's probably the day before
I didn't
Thanksgiving.
bring my phone, so I can't tell you.
Hold on, I'll pull up my calendar. And
This is that time of year where it's next month is Thanksgiving, and then the month after
Month
that
after is Christmas.
is
Yeah.
Christmas. So
So the fourth Wednesday, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, it's the day before Thanksgiving, so we probably should not do it then.
all right. So if it were me, I would say sometime in the first 3 weeks of December as like a one meeting for those 2 months.
Why don't we look at Wednesday, December 15th? Would that work for people? I know there's just 4 of us on the call, but
Yeah, the only thing I'll have to check is the
Room
room availability.
Yeah.
But I don't have that on my phone anymore. The calendars get mixed up.
so you're suggesting that we would not have a meeting in November and instead we would meet
We would-
earlier in December?
earlier
is
in
that what you're
December, but then we wouldn't meet the end of December. It would just go right to January. I think
Right.
that's
So
the way
you
to
could
go.
look at Wednesday, December 8th or Wednesday, December 15th.
Okay.
And that
8 to
would be a
15.
meeting that would cover November and December.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just kind of
So,
an end of the year wrap up, and then we'll pick it up in January. I think that's a good idea.
You know, I was asked at Pickleball one day if this room could be used for senior weight lifting or senior stretch class or something.
Probably could. Just have to move the chairs. That's the same thing we were trying to run at the church, but we couldn't get the instructor from the Y. That's that enhancing fitness class is basically they actually use chairs. They like stretch off the chairs and they have
Yeah,
ankle weights and
right,
stuff. It's just getting those type of classes. You know, the enhancing fitness, the Tai Chi. That's all the stuff I've tried to partner with the Y on because they have instructors. If anybody knows anyone that's an instructor of that stuff, you know, I don't, not that I don't want to, but I don't need to partner with the Y to do it. I would have to hire the instructor myself. I just don't know any. That's why I go to them, and it's good to build partnerships anyways. But I just don't. You know, we can't run a class if we don't have an instructor. I'm not one. So
Yeah.
I wonder if the people at the gym would know isn't that what it's called?
the gym, that's what it's called now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Someone there might know
Yep.
people who would be able to lead one of these kinds of classes you're talking about.
I can check back in with them. I know they have some like
Yeah.
physical trainers there, but I'm not.
Well, and they're still doing the PT piece, right? The physical therapy is still in
Yeah,
the same.
yeah, in the same building. Yeah.
Right. So they may know someone who does,
Jean would
or
know.
one of them may do something on the
Yeah.
side.
Yep. Yeah, I'll reach out
I
to
would
them.
think Jean would definitely know what to do for seniors.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So
I will make a motion that we adjourn if you're looking for one.
I'll second.
all right.
Hilthert,
Okay.
go Braves.
All those in favor?
Bye.
Unanimous. All right.
Okay, can go watch the.
Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody, since we won't see you until December.
You too.
You too.
Okay.
Margaret, you let us know when that meeting gets scheduled, whatever you're doing.
I'm gonna send the minutes out to everybody right now, because I typed as we went. It was lovely, so it'll be
Woo-hoo.
done.
What do you want me to let you know about, Trevor?
The meeting day.
8 to the 15th.
Yes, I will send out an email.
Why don't you wait